Quite literally a legend. The divine, the debauched, Dockyard Doris!
Half past 7 Monday morning, bang, bang, bang on my door. Geezer there in blue overalls. I said, who are you? He said, I've come to convert you. I said, you're too fucking late, pissed off here for a start. He said, I'm from Sky Television. I said, are you? He said, would you like a dish? I said, I've already got one. He said, that's not a dish, that's a silver service, dear. He said, I'm doing a special offer around the area, £40 for a new dish. I said, I'll have it. 2 days later, this beautiful man came, all covered in tattoos and muscles, and he climbed up my lean-to, and he stuck this dish on the corner of my house, and my house moved 2 feet. He said, now listen, he said, you'll be able to have all the up-to-date magazines, programmes, televisions, series and everything. He said, now you want a decoder. I said, how much is that? He said, 40 quid. I said, I'll have it. I said, will it work now? He said, no. He said, not yet. He said, do you like watching television in bed? I said, I do. He said, well, you'll want a video transmitter then, won't you? I said, well, how much is that? He said, £109. So I paid all this money. I said, well, will it work? He said, no, you want to subscribe to the thing, that's 35 quid. Well, it cost me about £2,000 this set. Then he gave me this PIN number, and I had to ring an 0898 number for the Sky woman on the other end to key me in. And you get that recorded message all the time, you know, your call is important to us. It fucking is, because it's costing you £2.50 a minute, you know. It cost me £37 to get through and get me code put on. But I thought, I'm going to enjoy it, because there'll be all the up-to-date magazines and all the programmes and all the latest films. I switched the telly on this morning, what do I see? Nearest and fucking dearest and bless this house. It's all changed. I mean, my local pub down Stepney Green, I mean, the yuppers have moved in there now. They've renamed it the Disappointed Virgin. Used to be called the Halfway In, you know. And they're all in there with the mobile phones. Hello, I'm in the pub. Oh, I stand next to them and go. They say, what's the matter with you, Doris? I said, they've got a fax coming through, dear, you know. And you get, no, please don't clap, it's a very old building. And he said to me, yes. And you get no help, you get down the DHSSSS, they're all sat behind the bulletproof glass. She said, name? I said, Dockyard Doris. She said, date of birth? I said, 8th of February. She said, what year? I said, every bloody year. She said, what did your father do before he died? I said, he went blue in the face and fell off the fucking sofa, dear. No, please, it sounds like sympathy, don't know. They're always bragging in the pub. I mean, there's 3 fellas in there with dogs, and they're ever so nice. They always say the dog is rather like the master, you know. And one of them's one of them architects, you know, down Docklands. And he's got this beautiful dog, and the other one's an actor, and the other one's a mathematician of the city, you know. And they're all bragging about how clever the dog is. And the actor said, my dog's cleverer than your 2 dogs. And the mathematician said, well, let's prove it. And he got a big pile of biscuits off the bar and threw them on the floor, and he said, Rover, do your business. And this mathematician's dog, with its nose, you know, it spelled out with the biscuits, 2 + 2 = 4. I was amazed. The architect said, that's nothing, watch this. Petra, do your business. It was a bitch, you see. And this architect's dog built a house out of the biscuits. And the actor said, that's nothing, Sebastian. Do your business. And the actor's dog ate all the biscuits, fucked the other 2 dogs, and asked for the rest of the afternoon off, which is... I know it's rubbish, but it's British, dear. I'm not bothered, no. And it's a joy to be in this lovely theatre built in 1900. I wasn't here when it was first built, contrary to public opinion. Oh, no, I wasn't, no. When they said go and clean up the Empire, I didn't think they'd meet the fucking Acne Empire, I really didn't, but it's... Because our Queen's just come back from Australia, hasn't she, bless her. They're very bold to her in Australia. The photographers are very cheeky. One of them was flashing away there when she got off the plane at Canberra. He said, come on, Your Majesty, show us a bit of leg. She went, fuck off. He said, come on, Your Majesty, in Australia now, show us a bit of leg. She said, You naughty boys. I know what you photographers are like. As a matter of fact, I have a brother-in-law who's a photographer. He said, that's funny, I've got a brother-in-law who's a queen, Your Majesty. But never mind. My next-door neighbour, we've had a bit of a row. She knocked on my door when she first moved in. She said, your house is the same as mine, but back to front. I said, that's right. She said, how many rolls of wallpaper did you buy for your lounge? I said, 8. She said, thank you. About a week later, I saw her in Tesco. She stuck her nose in the air. I said, what's up with you? She said, you've been telling me lies. I said, I've only just met you. She said, I asked you how many rolls of wallpaper you bought for your lounge, and you told me 8. I said, that's correct. She said, I've got 3 left over. I said, so have I. Silly cat. What about Coronation Street? I can't cope with that, can you? Sarah Lou, pregnant at the age of 14. Dirty cat. Mind you, she's a funny woman. I mean, she went upstairs 3 years ago. We never saw her for 4 years. When she came down again, she was a different fucking person, wasn't she? I don't like Coronation Street anymore. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, they've treated all the cast terribly. I mean, that Ernie Bishop was shot on Monday and never called the ambulance till fucking Wednesday, did they? Sarah Lou, what a name. I stutter, I'm sorry about that. My youngest, he came home from school the other day. I said, what's the matter, Sebastian? He said, I learned a new word today, Mum, in biology. I said, what was that? He said, masturbation. I said, oh, that's a mouthful. He said, no, that's a blowjob, Mum, you know. It's that funny age when he wants to go to all the Nike parties, all the clothes, Nike trainers, Nike top. 14 years. I said, what was your party like? He said, it was all right. I said, what do you have to eat? He said, jelly, ice cream. I said, what else do you have? He said, I had a shag. I said, what? He said, I had a shag. I said, go down the stairs. Why is it? Whenever mothers have a go at the kids, they go like a ventriloquist. Some poor little kid picks up a packet of sweets in Asda's, and they go, what have I fucking told you? You ain't your fucking harming yourself. Put me fucking down. I said, well, get downstairs. I could see the old man coming down the street. He was in the pub all afternoon. He was as pissed as a newt. He reminded me of an MFI wardrobe. I said, Attila, get them stairs and sort him out. He went out. He said, what's the matter? He said, Mum, send me to bed, Dad. He said, why? He said, I don't know. I've just been to a party, that's all. He said, what do you have to eat, son? He said, jelly, ice cream. He said, what else? He said, I had a shag, Dad. He said, come with me, my son. Led him down the stairs, walked past me, walked into the kitchen, got the biggest frying pan I'd ever seen in my life. I said, what are you going to do with that, Attila? He said, I'm going to cook him egg, bacon, sausage and tomatoes, Doris. You can't shag all night on jelly and ice cream, girl, can you, you know? I blame him, silly old fool. When we were first married, he said to me one night, he said, why don't you tell me when you have an orgasm? I said, you'll never fucking hear, that's the reason why. You go down the doctor's, that's the kiss of death, isn't it? He said, take all your clothes off and I'll examine your ears first. That's what I thought. He said, I'm sorry, I can't do anything for you, it's the drink. I said, well, I'll come back when you're sober, cock, I'm not fucking up. He said, do you have trouble passing water? I said, I get a bit sick going over Tower Bridge occasionally, but otherwise I'm all right. I can't help being fat. I've got a problem with my feet. I can't keep them out of fish and chip shops, that's what it is. I've always been big, pleasantly plump. Been all the diets, I've tried all them diets, monkey nuts and bananas. Haven't lost much weight, but I can't half climb fucking trees. Went to one of them steam bars, try and lose weight. I couldn't find the place. Oh, and eventually I found this room that was all full of steam, tiles all up the wall, and a big slab made out of marble. Took all my clothes off, laid on the slab, and when the steam cleared, I got the shock of my life. I was laying in the window of a fish and chip shop in Mare Street. All these cockney women with headscarves poking me with their fingers, you know. I said, what you after? She said, hard rose. I said, it's a fucking day off, leave me alone, thank you very much. Hey ho. Is it hot or is it just me coming down with something? I have to blow down my blouse on the buses. I do. I went up the stairs the other week, I couldn't believe it. There was this beautiful fellow upstairs, he exposed himself. It was like a baby's arm holding an orange. I looked at it and I went, He said, it's okay, honey, I'm only going to rape you. I said, thank fuck for that. I thought you were going to hit me with the fucking thing for a moment. Oh, he was well blessed. Oh, he was. Not like my old man. Takes his kecks down, it's like 2 mushrooms and an acorn hanging. He said, I'm going to make love to you tonight. I thought, oh, here we go. He got on top of me, so I moved the ashtray off his back. Well, you may as well have a cigarette whilst you're waiting. He said, go on! I said, what? He said, do what they do on the videos, moan, wriggle and writhe. So I'm laying there, and he's saying, go on! I said, I can't, the neighbours. He's saying, go on, moan! I said, when are you going to paint the fucking ceiling? Why don't we have a decent holiday occasionally? Went to Spain last, Joe, won't go again. Hadn't been there 5 minutes, had to call the police. He said, what is the matter, senor? I said, all the Spanish blokes keep pinching my bum. He said, it's traditional. I said, what, with a pair of pliers, dear? I'm laying on the beach trying to get a bit of sun, because you're going to come back with a suntan, because people don't think you've been away. The deck chair attendant said, Signora, you must leave the beach, the tide's waiting to come in. I said, I've paid my 10 pesetas, I'm staying. He said, I get my amigos. I said, get who you like. He came back with 10 big Spanish blokes. It took 10 men to lift me. I leaned forward and there's a total eclipse in Gibraltar, apparently, you know. Well, it wasn't my fault, it was the hotel we stayed at. You couldn't get near the pool because of the German tourists. I'm not being racist, but I'm sorry to say every morning they was there. So one day I thought I'd get my own back. One night, 2 o'clock in the morning, I didn't go to sleep. I put the towel down by the side of the pool. I thought I will be first. About 6:30, I fell asleep. I could feel water on my face. I looked up, big German man. He said, this is my place. I am German. I said, I am English and I was here first. He said, I am an Olympic swimmer. I said, what do you want, a paper hat or a chocolate mouse? He said, we will have a competition. I said, will we? He dived in the pool, he did 8 lengths breaststroke. When he got out, he flicked the water on my face. He said, beat that roast beef. I said, I will, because ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to be English. And you should be proud to be English or Irish or Scottish or Welsh. Have faith in yourself. My granddad had faith in himself. He was the only man in Shoreditch to swim the channel with an anvil strapped to his back. His last words to me was... I said, I'll show you, Fritz. I climbed up onto the top diving board. I did 48 somersaults, completely by accident. I hit the water 92 miles an hour. I did 28 lengths underwater without coming up once. I was exhausted. He said, that is wunderbar, he said. Where did you learn to swim like that? I said, I used to be a prostitute in Venice, and the police are very hot on it now. Bugger off. That was it. Well, you have to stick up for yourself. You really do. Be proud. I am. Don't know what of. Never mind. I'm sure I've got worms. There's a dog upstairs in the dressing rooms. Whenever you meet a dog, it always sticks its nose up your crutch. And you say, oh, you can smell my dog, whether you've got a fucker or not. You know, that's what... And they're always licking their private parts, aren't they? Because in 5 minutes' time, they're going to be licking your face. But in this local pub, my local, the yuppies there, they don't half brag. And they've got to have a loud conversation. They can't speak sort of softly like you and I, you know. And everyone's got to hear in the pub, you know. You don't want to listen in sometimes, you know. But you can't help it. And the 3 of them was in the other week, and one was saying, hey, Sebastian, how's your son doing? Oh, he's doing awfully well. He's bucking the trends in the city on the stock exchange. He made so much money last week, he gave away £1,000. Just gave it away. What about your son, Michael? Oh, he's doing awfully well. He's a yacht broker in St. Catherine's Dock. He made so much money last week, he gave away a yacht, just gave it away. And what about your son, Peter? Oh, he's doing awfully well. He's an estate agent in Chelsea. He made so much money last week, he gave a villa in Spain, just gave it away. And sitting in the corner of the pub is a little Cockney bloke. It's been his local for 30 years, and he's not going to move for the yuppies. And I said, do you have a son? He said, I fucking do. What a waster he's turned out to be. He's an iron off. Puff. He's a rent boy. He's brought disgrace on the fucking family, he has. Mind you, he hasn't done badly. Last week he was given a villa in Spain, a yacht, and £1,000. Good somebody's son. You have to carry on, don't you? Regardless. It's always a joy to come here. My old mum held my hand before she died and she said to me, and the marvellous thing about that is, what happens when you die? Is there such a thing as heaven? 3 women died and went to heaven. St. Peter said, name. She said, Bridget Murphy. He said, religion. She said, Catholic. He said, to the left. The next one went up, he said, name. She said, Mary O'Hara. He said, religion. She said, Catholic. He said, to the left. The next one went up, he said, name. She said, Sophie Goldberg. He said, religion. She said, Jewish. He said, to the right, please. She said, to the right? But the other 2 ladies have gone to the left. He said, yes, but you want your hair done first, dear, don't you? Thank you. No, please. No, I've only got 15 minutes. I think it's 15 minutes, or was it 2? And the same to you. Thank you very much. Yes, I don't know what the hairdressers are like where you live, but in Bethnal Green, they've always got this of the young girl in from the youth opportunities, you know. And as you're sat there, she speaks to you through the mirror, and you don't want her to speak. It's like when you get into a taxi sometimes and the window goes back. Where are you going, Governor? You say, well, Euston Station. What do you do for a living? And as soon as you say you're a comedian, they say, tell us a joke. If you were in a taxi and you said to a man, what do you do for a living? He said, I'm a gynecologist. You wouldn't say, would you mind looking at my wife's? Well, you wouldn't, would you? And she's speaking to you as you're having your hair done, washing your hair. You on your holidays? I said, well, I'm thinking of going to Italy. Oh, I went there last year, I didn't like it. I said, oh, thanks a lot. So what was the weather like? She said, it pissed down with rain for 2 weeks. Oh, thanks. I said, but the buildings are marvellous, the architecture. She said, they're all falling down. I said, you see the Pope? She said, yeah, he's only that big. I thought, I'm going to Italy. She's going to put the wind at me, going. I had the most marvellous time. I came back hoping and praying she wasn't going to be on duty. But she was. I thought she won't recognise me. But she came up, you know, chewing gum in the mouth and the engine on, you know. Been on your holidays? I've been to Italy. Oh, what was the weather like? I said, the sun shone for 2 weeks. What was the food like? Best food I've ever tasted. Vermicelli, ravioli, spaghetti. What about the wine? Best wine in the world. Did you see the Pope? I said, I not only saw His Holiness on the balcony of St. Peter's. He came down, got into the Pope-mobile, drove round to the British section where I was standing, and got out and spoke to me. He didn't, he did. What did he say? He said, Doris, who the fuck does your hair? Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to have the honour of, appearing on this wonderful stage. I was one of the very few and very fortunate performers when this lovely theatre reopened after becoming after it was a bingo hall for 25 years. I did one of the first pantomimes here with the fabulous Linda Robson and Pauline Quirk, and it was a joy to work for 8 weeks here, and I've been back on several occasions in variety shows, but it's a joy to be amongst your own tonight. In this life, there's only 2 things to worry about. That's whether you're rich or whether you're poor. And if you're rich, you've nothing to worry about. And if you're poor, you've only got 2 things to worry about. That's whether you've got good health or, sadly, whether you've got bad health. And if you've got good health, you've nothing to worry about. And if you've got bad health, you've only got 2 things to worry about. And that's whether you live or whether you die. If you live, you've nothing to worry about. And if you die, you've only got 2 things to worry about. And that's whether you go to heaven or whether you go to hell. And if you go to heaven, you'll have nothing to worry about, and God bless you all and good night. If you go to hell, you'll be so busy shaking hands with all your mates, you'll have no time to fucking worry, will you?